The deeper you dive, the more pressure builds. But what does that really mean for your air supply? Hey everybody, I'm Marissa and I'm a PADI Master Scuba Diver, and I have a passion for diving, the ocean, and everything below the surface. And today, we're going to be talking about Dalton's Law, so let's dive in. What is Dalton's Law? Dalton's Law states that the total atmospheric pressure is the sum of the partial pressure of each individual gas within the atmosphere. Partial pressure is the pressure that's exerted by that particular gas. So oxygen partial pressure is the pressure of oxygen in the tank, and nitrogen partial pressure is going to be the pressure of nitrogen in the tank. And together, they're going to equal the total pressure. Simple, right? Now, why do divers care about this? Well, as divers, as we go deeper and descend, the pressure is going to increase, and the total pressure around us changes. So that means that the partial pressure of each gas that we breathe also increases. So imagine that you're in a tube with a lid on it, and all of a sudden you feel an increase in pressure from the air above you, and you look up and you see that the atmosphere is being compressed on top of you. Now, it's the same amount of gas, but it's being compressed into a smaller space. Here, you'll be able to see that as the volume decreases, the pressure is going to increase and vice versa. This is going to cause an increase in the atmospheric pressure. If you decrease the volume, then you increase the pressure. You can probably see how this is associated with scuba diving, because at surface level, you're at 1 atmosphere. In salt water, at 33 feet underwater, you're doubling the pressure, and 34 feet for fresh water.
Our scuba tanks don't compress under pressure. The tank is a rigid container, so the air stays compressed at a high pressure whether you're at the surface or at depth. When you breathe from your regulator and the air leaves the tank, this will reduce the high tank pressure to match the surrounding ambient pressure at the depth you're at. When the air leaves the tank, it expands to match the water pressure around you so you can breathe. The deeper you go, the more the ambient pressure there is. So each breath you take uses more of your tank's air supply. More air is needed to fill your lungs at high pressure. Since we are breathing in more gas under pressure, this is going to affect how our bodies handle the oxygen and nitrogen in our tank.
And this is where Dalton's triangle comes into play, where we can then calculate the partial pressure of the gases. As you can see here, this is Dalton's triangle. So PPO2 is going to be our partial pressure, our P is going to be our atmospheres, and it's going to be our depth, and then our FO2 is going to be our percentage of oxygen that we're using. Let's say that you're diving with regular air to start off. That's 21% oxygen, and you're diving down to a depth of 66 feet. That's about 3 atmospheres. So to find the partial pressure, we're going to multiply 3 atmospheres by 0.21. So this comes out to 0.63, and what is the partial pressure for oxygen? It's going to be 1.4 is going to be our max. We never want to exceed that. So this is regular air. We can use this at 66 feet. Too much oxygen under pressure can be toxic. For diving, we have a maximum partial pressure of 1.4. Dalton's Law is how we calculate these thresholds, by using this triangle. It's your tool to avoid problems before they happen. Here's a quick visualization of 33 feet, which is 2 atmospheres, 66 feet, which is 3 atmospheres, 99 feet, which is 4 atmospheres, and 132 feet, which is 5 atmospheres. Now, let's talk nitrox. Say you're using 32 EAN, so 32% oxygen and 100 feet in depth, which is about 4 ATA. This is the formula that we're going to use, so now we're just going to plug in the information that we have. And this is going to equal 1.28, which is below the 1.4 partial pressure. So we'll be able to use 32% oxygen at a depth of 100 feet. But this is why understanding partial pressure is essential for safe diving, especially with nitrox. I have a challenge for you. What is the oxygen partial pressure at a depth of 110 feet with a 32% blend of oxygen? You can drop your answers in the comments below. Let's recap what we learned today. Dalton's Law says that gas pressure adds up, and each gas has its own partial pressure, and partial pressure increases with depth, so it's going to increase the deeper you go. And for divers, this is going to affect safety. especially with oxygen and nitrogen, because with nitrogen, you can get gas narcosis at a certain depth, and to avoid that, you can just ascend a little bit and the symptoms should go away. If you want to feel more confident with nitrox and dive planning, check out my nitrox formulas in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if anyone needs a refresher on this. Again, it's always good for dive safety just to know more so you're able to plan safer dives. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.